The gospel writers will tell us about Jesus' public ministry because Jesus is accompanied by the 12 apostles and by the 70 disciples and many others. And so they record that, and we get that in the gospels. The life of Joseph and Mary and Jesus before his public ministry is what we call the hidden life. God takes his Messiah, his son, enters into the quiet, regular, normal, day-to-day life of what any human being would have on this world. And so I think Joseph and Mary and Jesus growing up lived this ordinary life. And I think God's trying to show that ordinary human life is a beautiful thing, that God enters into that story. He enters into that ordinariness. And yet through the ordinary, God can sanctify the ordinary and make it extraordinary and supernatural.
All men are looking for a battle. The battle isn't out there somewhere, but it's in the home. It's within me, it's within my family. And seeing my role as a father as something so vital to society, to family life today, really wouldn't have come through unless it was for St. Joseph. So I see his work through the ordinary as something that all men could strive for. That's the fruit that's going to change the world, is being able to live in an ordinary family heroically as a father. That's the example that's so different about St. Joseph.
St. Joseph has an incredible way to really kind of fill in a gap that is missing in the lives of many people who don't have a father or haven't had the experience of a loving father, an affirming, tender, affectionate father. And I think for so many people, he can come in and kind of fill that void. When you have a relationship with him, he's always affirming. He's always there. And that alone in somebody's life is so consoling that you do have a loving dad, a spiritual father in St. Joseph.
There's this ancient phrase in the tradition of going to Joseph. And I think it's because as Christians wanted to be close to Jesus, they realized that Mary is a great model, but also, and there's a great Marian devotion, but also Joseph is a model because Joseph is so close to Jesus. And Jesus entrusted himself to the care of Joseph. We too will go to him for our needs and that he may protect and guide us.
The family is the building block of civilization. It's kind of what makes things turn. Everybody grows up in a home with that example, that love that they should have from a mother and a father. But I think by turning to St. Joseph and bringing him more into family life, we're going to build things up. We're going to make it stronger.
One thing I think is beautiful about St. Joseph is that even though he's not in the entire gospel, you can really see his example and influence through the life of Christ. We know that he served Jesus and Mary through his fatherhood, and he was actually the leader of that family. He was the head of the Holy Family, and what did he do as a head is he served.
Husbands and fathers, if they imitate St. Joseph, I think we'll experience a revolution of holiness in culture, in society, because his model of being those roles in his own family was incredible. It was a kind of servant leadership. It was a man who took charge, for sure, but with great love, with great tenderness, with great affection. He loved Mary as his wife, and he loved Jesus, and he was there for Jesus.